Princess and Pirate. Hello. Robert Hawks. Awesome. Give a few more minutes to see if people come in. Okay, the video. Hey there. Okay, the video in question was Memphis Truck Derby. TNPD fail the Appling Farms Precinct First Amendment audit. It was a terrible, 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 terrible fail. Hey, business. Chiku Mizra, I messaged you to email me. Are you going to email me? I did it on what you wrote on the Huntsville, Alabama. If not, please check it out so you can email me about that. Life is better now that I'm back in Nashville. Okay, thank you, Chica. All right, this is regarding this. Now, this audit, I don't know if any of y'all saw it or not, but as I said, here's the title of it. Hey, Bill. And it was a terrible experience in Memphis at the Appling Farms Precinct. Now, what happened, I went to Internal Affairs. Hey, Neord. Alright, I went to Internal Affairs and the following day, and 700 Club, I've never seen you live stream, thank you. Anyway, I want to show you for a minute the policies of simply, and you can like go back and look and read them about public photography. Hey, Carolina. Tango Tracker. Hey, man. I've been replying to you today. It's great to see you here. I know that hat anywhere. Okay, just showing y'all the complaint. So if you want, you can back up and look at it, because I'm gonna post this live stream and keep it up there. Tango, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, here's some more of your policy. Trying to get it. Now what I have is the phone call. Yes, they did. Posing as a black man to infiltrate Black Lives Matter. Oh my goodness. Okay, I heard about that. Media Watch, I will check that out. So if anybody wants to scroll, see some of these pages of their, their police department's procedures that I had and offered to share with them. Okay, this is the man on the phone. Now the only issue with this is it was on a call recorder. I didn't have any other device available, so the sound is going to be an issue. So I'm going to try and play the sound, and then you have to let me know if you are able to hear it or not. Give me just a second. Okay.
Sheffield.
Mr. Sheffield, this is Reba getting in touch with you. Do you have a moment?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm looking forward to you calling.
Wonderful.
Right.
Wonderful. I was so happy you emailed me on Saturday. I was like, this is a good sign. Really was. I was
So
like,
it's okay?
this is a good sign.
Well, I hope so, because all in all,
Awesome.
on the front end, it's
This
probably,
is long.
when you say audit, that's kind of like test. And
Yeah.
when we do things, it's for to try to make things better. When you test, you try to change things for the better. So
Right.
see if we can work on doing that.
I appreciate that is your opening tone. I'm very happy about that. And the people that I met with I was very encouraged by how receptive they were to everything that I said, as far as suggestions, especially complaint forms.
I was talking about internal
And everything
affairs here.
surrounding that.
I thought he was part of that.
And then
So did you talk to the legal advisor here?
I'll tell you what. Let me grab my purse. I generally, if I am going to call about a police matter, I actually have notes to make sure any questions or anything, and then I can jot things down. I don't actually have it right here in front of me of the two people that were with me. It was
Now, my assumption would be that you would audio record this.
it is audio recorded, but wait, let me say though, it would be highly unlikely that I would ever use it. And really the only way, even the man that I spoke with, he said he was going to call me, about doing the complaint forms. And I said, do you mind if I record it? I said, because I want your permission to. Because the positive outcomes from y'all, if I post that, you don't believe how much that would help your department's image. And you can look. I'm sure you've seen the videos and just scroll through the comments. Have you?
And of course, now I had to kind of do some
Thank you.
research because you have to understand certain things. So
Hawaii.
I tried
Yay.
to educate myself on different things that I didn't know.
What things in particular, if you don't?
Well, I wasn't familiar with the First Amendment audit situation because we hadn't had it presented in that manner. But anyway.
Well, let me ask this though. In what way did you figure it out? Like, how did you learn about it? Like, did you look at other YouTube videos, or what did you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just viewing what you had.
Me. Okay. Not other people, because.
Well, others come up. Yes.
Okay. But please, a First Amendment auditor is like being a police officer. That doesn't put you in a box of behavior as far as good or bad. My only motivation, like in every interaction I have, I just stand there. I have never provoked anyone or tried to elicit a negative response from anyone. I file compliments on police officers who go above and beyond. But when things go wrong, I want them held accountable, because I'm telling you, y'all are there just not y'all, like the police, law enforcement in general are just there chomping at the bit to hold everyone accountable. And
Well,
you know,
we do a lot, but like I said, I go with on face value, so I try not to make an assumption
please don't.
about that. That's what I said. We'll go from what we've got.
Great.
We've got going on, and then go from there. Because all in all, I feel like your visit was somewhat helpful. I mean,
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I want it to be. I mean, I want every officer held accountable, but I want positive change for your entire department, which is positive change for your entire community. No?
So, and okay, well that's where it's important to me. So one of the things that when I viewed the first video,
Okay.
and it's like there's a couple things in there which I want to straighten up with things, and we didn't got crossways because it became an issue. We actually do not have a citizen complaint form that we hand out. So it appeared that when that was said, it was like, yeah, you do, or you didn't believe us, or whatever. So, but yes, we don't have it that way. That's not the way we
I believed them. Well, I assumed they were being honest about it, but I was in no way going to tell the people I'm complaining to you about you and feeling that was going anywhere. But when I went back the second time, then I knew for sure that there were no complaint forms, just in case I was being given the runaround. So I don't question that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that was of course. Now, there's always consequences to everything we do. So part of the backlash of the first video was we were inundated with calls about complaints and complaint forms.
Yes, it's so important. It is.
Different departments have different procedures and policies, and they're not really dictated by one outline. So one department has a citizen complaint form that they give you to fill out, doesn't necessarily mean everyone does, and we don't.
Can you please make complaint forms? This is my request and what anybody would want. And like literally, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, Davidson County. And you walk in any police station and laying right there in front of you, you don't even have to request one. You are definitely not asked to sign in. You just say, may I have a complaint form, please? Oh, sure, right there. Or you just go pick it up, and then you can mail it in. Just go hand it to someone, and you should be able to not feel, I mean, there are like 100 reasons why people would not want to do it some other way. And just convenience alone of every single person that lives in Memphis, Tennessee, being able to go to internal affairs between 8 and 4 and feel comfortable, not intimidated, to have transportation, to not be scared of the police. I mean, it's so endless. If you just had complaint forms at every station, and then that complaint form would be required to go to your department. I mean, it sounds like a simple thing, and you in Huntsville, Alabama, are the only places that I have found yet that don't just have a complaint form. You know, especially where I found at each place that they wanted you to sign in, and I'm sorry, I don't have to give my identity in order to speak to you. You see what I mean? That's identifying yourself.
Yeah, a lot of that is pretty much common practice, SOP kind of thing, and a lot of times what that's for is in the past we've had subpoenas for that because of people, mostly a lot of times when they're dropping children off, and everybody does. If you come to the TVP office, like to pay a ticket, the window for traffic violations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you have that specific business, you just go do that, and then you go out.
Right.
And then we have a kiosk that you can renew your driver's license.
Yeah, I love that y'all have that there. Yeah.
So most of the time that you just come in, you go to the driver's license kiosk, and then you go on. Of course, now some people ask my desk officer about how to use it.
Yeah.
Sitting there a lot of times, it's sort of like a computer.
Exactly. Yeah. I've never used one, but I'm so glad they exist now.
But anyway, so like I said, we don't have one. I'm not the one that puts that in play. Of course, the first day you were here, one of the things that I'm dictated by when you start talking about policy is when I have a situation that you presented, I have to advise my command, and then they in turn advise one of the legal people.
Uh-huh.
We've had a number of other issues that we just get legal on the audience, and then
in this matter, you've already done that? Okay, they did? Okay, good. Go ahead.
Legal wanted to come out, but you had left by the time I got back in and had made contact with them.
Oh.
It's not like instantaneous. It's not like I call and whatnot.
Yes, I understand.
So, and then the next day when you came in, I called, and the legal was actually headed out, but you gave the information to the lieutenant and then walked off. So with the video and the situation there, you know, I didn't want to chase you down.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I got no reason to do that, and the appearance would be that we came after you. No matter what I did, what purpose, when you put it on a video, everybody interprets that in their own way anyway. So,
let me say, if you had done that for that reason, I would have been so happy about it. I mean, literally, you know. But I see exactly what you're saying. Somebody else might consider that actual criminal stalking. It would
be there. So
right.
I'm just like, well, what I'll do is get the information that the lieutenant has, try to follow up with you, because although you didn't get a name or anything, it wasn't entirely anonymous. You're a real person and an email address, and that's why I worded it the way that I did, because, you know, I don't know, email address. I don't know if that's actually you or not.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I knew you did it that way, and that's why I responded. You got the right person, you know.
That's why it was like that.
Yes.
And like I said, I don't want to ever give it an impression that we just, you know, we're against all that. We're gonna maintain. We try to stay in a police department can be and whatnot, but you know, there's stuff we do that we don't talk about until after certain things happen, like courts and stuff like that.
Right.
Identity, private, depending on what they're reporting and stuff like that. That's why behind the desk and stuff like that is kind of, you know, because you got stuff there that has other people's stuff on it that is private, and we try to maintain their privacy also. So anyway, but yeah, I didn't want it to appear that we were running you down and doing some type of stuff we don't really, you know, we don't do.
Well, wait a minute.
So
Let me.
That's why I contacted you. So.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that when I showed back up to do that complaint, legal was on the way, but I had left already?
Right. You had already gone down the street, and our legal advisor had left our, this is probably the furthest precinct out that you can go to.
Yeah, I did it. I did it starting on that end, and it's going to work my way the other way.
Well, if you were from Nashville, we would be the first place you got.
Yeah, that's why I did it. Yeah.
So I kind of figured that. I've been on the job about 33 years, so I did a little investigating. So we kind of figured if you come in 40, that would be the reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, not me. It would have been nice to have you start over there from Arkansas and get the first, but anyway, nevertheless. But yeah, the legal advisor was actually coming, but you know, I just don't.
Why didn't y'all tell the guy I was trying to give the complaint to, who never wrote anything down, to ask me to stay?
He didn't know.
Oh, okay.
What I was doing.
But then how did you know I was there at that time?
They called him from the desk.
Right.
And wherever he was out in the field. See, our lieutenants are first line supervisors. I want them out in the field.
Right.
Trying to watch our guys and whatnot. So he had to come in out of the field, and then I had to do my, back after I found out that you were here, because I didn't find out until the lieutenant let me know.
The second day. Okay.
Yeah, the second day.
Okay, I got you.
And that's what I said. I just didn't want it to be some appearance that the police would chase you down when it hit YouTube, because, I can't, and you can't dictate what somebody, interprets your video or whatnot. And that's what the thing with the first one was. We got all the phone calls for about 2 days, 3 days about the complaint.
Wait.
That we don't take them. We have to take them, but it's right.
Well, please, let me ask you, of the phone calls, were most people respectful, at least in the beginning?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
There were some very disrespectful, and then there was actually some that were somewhat threatening toward the officers themselves. So,
I'm sorry. I want to tell you, I'm sorry. You know, because I don't have any control over that at all. Yeah, I mean, zero,
Well,
zip.
you yourself know that there's other people that you know that don't have the same intent.
Right, I do.
So that's why we have to go on everything at face value.
Yes.
You know, like I said. But yeah, and what the lieutenant did was pretty much exactly on the second day. The lieutenant did exactly what he was supposed to do. He took your information that you gave, and
He never wrote anything down.
He did document. I do have a in-house incident report that he has written to me, and
But so him not writing, did you see the video that he didn't write it down? I mean, what kind of just memory slinging things did he write down on the computer? He didn't have a photographic memory of me verbalizing to him. I don't think he...
No, but he does. You know, we do have body cams.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Did he go over the body cam?
You can refer to the body cam if there's a way. Now, as far as me, I did not go through and view every single body cam that was on. I did look at the YouTube footage.
Okay.
You know, and of course now, in theory, everything that was on the YouTube video is on body cam.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's statement. Of course, it would be taken for recording you.
Right. Yeah, but
because, you know,
no,
looking at it and whatnot, I can hear it, see it, and I saw you. So,
yeah. Well, I want you to see it, no matter what.
But he did.
Wait a minute. Let me say this. No matter what, I want you to see all of it from my footage, to see the intimidation, everything, the sarcasm. I mean, you can't see their faces and how they are behaving from theirs. You just hear what they say. When you see it from my point of view, and you can imagine, I'll tell you what people, I hope, realize and why they get so upset. You don't know, I don't mean to use this kind of language because I'm a proper lady, usually. But
Usually.
It takes a humongous set of balls to do that. To go and deal with people trying to intimidate you, verbal harassment, to stand up to them, assert your rights, not let them control and dominate the situation like they're trained to. To be able to do that takes so much, I can't tell you, and to control the adrenaline like officers are supposed to in an emergency situation. The fight, flight, or freeze thing goes on for the citizens as well as the officer. And this is not my job, it's my civic duty. And so I risk my safety, my life, and my freedom every time I walk out the door to do that, just like an officer does. It's very intimidating. And when you see it from the viewpoint of my camera, it's even much worse than how it looks. If you're the one that this is happening to, it's terrifying. Could you imagine maybe your daughter being there and being treated that way? How it would feel? You know?
You know, when you ask, I do have personal experience on both sides of this issue.
Okay. All right.
And so, just not expounding on it.
Yes, I understand. Okay.
I have family. We all have family, too. So, of course, now, like I said, that's one of the officers' things is their family's really important to them, and when they get video of them, no matter whether it's good or bad, their interpretation is it could come back bad on my family because now I've been pointed out. So this, like I said, there's sides to that, and then not everybody that doesn't do a police job will and can understand the whole thing.
Right.
But anyway, so but the important thing to me is to actually address the concerns you had in the and you know your complaint that the lieutenant is boarded up pretty much as he's supposed to. So, and that's where when we do the complaints, and it comes a lot of times it comes to me when it's it's something that that doesn't involve use of force and property damage and injury of somebody. So most of those come to the precinct to look at, and then there's several other ways that we have. Like you can call internal affairs, and they'll do a telephone complaint, and if it doesn't involve those three things, force, property damage, or injury, they forward it to me, and or you can walk in to IA in the same circumstance. They take telephone complaints, they take walk-in complaints, and we take workstation.
Well, let me add at this stage. When I called internal affairs, because I was like, the only way I can make a complaint and for it to really mean anything is I'm going to have to go to internal affairs. And fortunately, I had just enough time because I was leaving. I just got home last night, or I haven't slept tonight, so my days and nights got mixed up during this trip. Excuse me, but wait, what was I about to say? That was the only thing that I needed to do, because I couldn't trust anything was ever going to go anywhere, and so I'm so glad that I went there, and they were perfect. And anyway, just go ahead. I must have gotten off track. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I was saying the different ways. So.
I know. Wait a minute. Okay, when I called internal affairs, this is what I was going to say. I called internal affairs and I said, I have some complaints that I would like to make, and would there be someone in internal affairs that could sit with me, because I have video footage of it and I need to go over in detail. And she said, yes, you will need to bring your ID. And I said, ma'am, I'm not going to do that. I said, I understand that you think it's a requirement, so I'll just deal with whoever it is at that time. So even if you call, you're told you can't file a complaint without, and then the complaint form wants your address, phone number, date of birth, all that. You every stage of it, you are led to believe the only way to do anything is to give up everything about yourself, and it's not true, as you know, and that is so misleading. And if people knew that they could do it without feeling threatened or retaliated or anything at all, I bet your complaints would come in a lot more, especially if you just had forms for people, you know.
Of course, now you got to look on my side. I don't know if I want a whole bunch of complaints coming in.
But that's not fair, though. If you wouldn't want forms because you wouldn't want complaints, that's not a fair statement.
That's not it.
Okay, good.
We don't discourage anybody from complaining, but procedurally, I'm talking about complaints themselves. I would hope that we don't have that many complaints that you.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
Where we're at.
Okay.
I want people complaining.
Okay, because that's what it sounded like at first. Okay, all right, okay.
No. I just don't want people to have a reason.
Yeah.
But, like I said, though, it depends on what the complaints are. So, a lot of times we take them, and we have to determine what specifically is a complaint. Because a lot of times here, what I get sometimes is someone calling and saying that they got a ticket and they weren't speeding.
Right.
Well,
you go to court, though.
And we give everybody a court day.
Right.
And that, to me, is somewhere that you have to explain your situation to the judge.
Right.
Because,
that's obvious.
Being law enforcement, he has determined that you were speeding. You got the citation. The citation now gives you the option to either pay it, which is basically a guilty plea, or go to court and plead your case. So,
Yeah.
is that a complaint or is not a complaint? So we have to explain sometimes.
Yeah, that's not a complaint.
We ask, were they rude? Did they use profanity or, things like that? And if you have that, then you go from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course, now the body cam has done a real good. It's been more of a positive for the police than a negative, because a lot of the complaints that are subjective,
Yes, are disproven or unfounded.
usually turn out that they are either unfounded in entirety, or there's just not something you can sustain.
Right.
So we have several options on, how to call it. You have sustained, not sustained, and unfounded, not the same thing. But a lot of that. But yeah, that's what I was saying. Though I would hope. Now, on that side, the IA side, I don't really get involved in that, other than some of the complaints that we get. After I determine that there was enough to sustain, they go to them, and that's part of the procedure.
Does legal want to talk to me?
Do you know if they took a telephone complaint from you, or did you go in?
In where?
Yeah, internal affairs.
Yeah. Are you not aware of my visit there?
Well, no, ma'am. I don't have a. So most of the time, what they do is they take a telephone complaint, or they take a walk-in complaint. And like I said, if it doesn't involve the items that I discussed, the force or damage to the property, or an injury of some type, and most of the time is courtesy and or personal conduct type complaints that you get. They get those, send those to me, and I usually get them in an email.
Let me clarify something. Okay.
They don't work 24/7 like we do. They're on call, but the normal office things are. Let me check. What I'm doing right now is just checking my email to see if I have received anything from on your.
Okay, great. Because I'm kind of confused, because I assumed that you were part of internal affairs, and that's why you were getting in touch with me.
I'm the precinct commander at Apple Farm.
Thank you. Okay, see, I didn't know that. Okay, that really helps. That really helps me. Yeah.
When I sent the email, the email on the bottom has my name, Colonel C.L. Sheffield.
I saw that, but I just assumed. I didn't realize.
Has Apple Farm.
Oh, okay. I missed that part on the bottom.
I thought that you knew who I was.
No, that's why I've talked to you. I would have spoken with you differently because I thought this was a follow-up of internal affairs. That's what I'm saying. Okay, now if legal would like to talk to me, that's fine. Internal affairs, I'm very open to that. They were wonderful. Talking to you, okay, now understand why we're talking, why you're calling. Okay.
Can y'all still hear it okay?
Clarify. Okay.
That's the procedure.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you.
anyway, so that's kind of how they do. So a lot of times people make the complaint here and they go to audit.
Okay. Well,
So what they'll probably do is forward a complaint review there to me. If you went in, it's called a walk-in complaint. And then if you call them, it would be a telephone. They took it over telephone.
okay. Okay, I went to your department to make a complaint. I felt like when he didn't write anything down, and if you watched it from my video, the disdain on that man's face, and just aggravated that I'm even there. You know, it was just super uncomfortable, and never writing anything down. And I was very curious to if he was going to follow through. And let me ask you, as far as like the complaint that he filed in the computer that went to you, can I get a copy of that, or am I going to have to do a public records request to get that to see how he worded it and if he included everything that should have been there?
Okay. Well, to get it, it's probably you'll have to get it through a FOIA. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't mind telling you what's in. What's on the 19th at 11:30, or right at the call that regarding complaint to front desk. The complainant unknown refused to give her personal information. Complaint unknown advised she had her policy and procedure in her hand, and we were obligated to take her workstation complaint. Because I didn't know, when I looked at that, I thought what you had was the policy on there, the reporting.
I did.
And,
I was reading from it and had it in my hand. And I offered him his own policy, and he said, no, I don't want the policy. And I'm like, well, and I read him verbatim, every one. I said, now, you didn't detain me. That's the only policy you didn't violate in the public photography part of the policy. You know, I was very specific and went down every policy violation, every policy except detaining me or illegally arresting me, was the only policy that wasn't violated in that part of your policy. It was quite amazing to me. Okay.
So that's what he writes in that, basically laying out the complaint. So when I get those, I usually try to follow up with the person that makes the complaint.
Okay.
Since I had an email.
Yeah.
I had an email. That's basically why I reached out to that email address to see if that was the person, so we could discuss what your expectations are and what the outcome that you'd like to see on your complaint.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. As far as, do you have a laid out, say if an officer, say if it was sustained and founded, every complaint that I made about the officers in that policy that I went through, do you have an exact policy of how you reprimand an officer if it is sustained and founded?
Well, there's a number of different ways. We usually try to start at the most minimal, which would be a negative OBR, and then an oral counseling, and then you proceed into areas where we call disciplinary
Mhm.
So, it's like I can't please everybody every time.
Right.
But
Well,
we still try.
but that's the beauty of my video and your video. It's not subjective whether something happened or not. It either happened or it didn't. You know.
Like I say, with everything that happens, there's always two sides of an argument. If there wasn't, there would be a whole lot of people that are lawyers that don't make no money. That's what they do. They argue. So that's what I'm saying. You have the complaint, and then like I said, I usually ask, what is the outcome that you would like to see that we can actually do?
Okay. Do you know the officer's name that was at the desk?
First day, second day.
First day.
First day, that's Simmons.
Okay. I think that he should be verbally reprimanded, but I think he should be retrained on the First Amendment, have to go into training over the policies, and I would feel better if he had at least 1 day of unpaid leave. I think that's reasonable for him. That's my personal opinion. Now, the tall man that was very decorated, what was his name?
Lieutenant Colonel
Haydare? Okay. Okay. He was awful. I mean, he was terrible. And when you have somebody at a desk, you have an expectation of professionalism. When you keep going higher and higher and higher, and they feel even worse, the higher you go, do worse and worse and worse, they should suffer much more higher consequences than people that shouldn't know any better. Such as I had an experience, just for example, with an officer that was terrible. And I said, please call your supervisor. And when the supervisor got there, I said, okay, well, first, he refused to identify himself, and that's against policy. And the supervisor said, well, we have it written here on our shirt, so we don't really have to do that. I said, you're a supervisor, and you don't know it's your policy. And he said, have you read our policy? And I said, yes, actually, I have read your policy, just like I went to your department with your policies. Yes, I had read your policy. And so, yeah, it was. Yeah, I went with the policies on day 2. Oh, not with the day 1. No, but the experience. But anyway, at a separate event, not there. Okay, so that supervisor, I filed a complaint on him because, for me, the supervisor not being aware of such a simple policy of your ID policy, to me, he should have suffered higher consequences because he has a higher standard in his rank of being professional and knowing. How can he supervise someone when the street cops I was dealing with knew it was policy, but then he didn't even know it was policy. And I mean, I find that mind-boggling when the supervisors can't do better than the lower person. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, you go to the supervisor for help, to de-escalate and to help communicate, figure out what's going on, de-escalate both sides. And it's usually me that would need to be de-escalated, right? But no, it's the officer that need to be de-escalated. But the supervisor escalated more than anybody. I mean, it was incredible how he over-talked me, wouldn't listen to me. If you don't have any business here, just, and he was ordering me to leave. And my First Amendment right was violated. I mean, they were going to arrest me. They didn't say, I will arrest you right now. But he was following me out the door. I was not allowed to be there anymore. My rights were violated. It's mind-blowing to me. He should suffer much greater consequences of a period of unpaid time off because of that. I mean, I don't see how that could not be the case with him. He was the worst of every single person I encountered at any time I was at that station. And it bewildered me. His aggressive manner, his trying to, how they try to puff themselves up and look, the stance and all of the intimidation tactics, talking down to me, not belittling, but just the contempt. And he would not stop talking. He would over-talk me, and I was trying to de-escalate him too. Just let me explain to you what I'm doing. Well, first, I don't owe you an explanation. First of all, you're not supposed to ask a photographer what they're doing. That's actually a policy violation. Then to demand to know, and then to ask me my ID is against policy. That's a policy violation. Even though it's not illegal, it's against your policy. So there's another policy violation. Making me leave.
There's other things. We talk to a lot of people. I ask a lot of people about it. And not all of them are. I can ask anybody anything at any time.
Right.
If I approach somebody on the street and I ask them a question, that's actually not a violation. That's not a policy violation. Stop asking questions.
Actually, your policy, your public photography policy, specifically addresses that, and that's the policy I took there. It specifically addresses public photography, and that part is addressed in there. It is.
But like I said, that's like if we had received a call about somebody that somebody called and said we're suspicious or something, and we can actually ask.
Yeah, you can ask anything. Right.
But yeah.
And I'm sorry. It was so difficult for me because he was demanding my ID. And I have to say, this is not a stop and ID state. I am not driving a car. You have no reasonable articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime. You have no right to my ID. And just arguing about that, just over and over. It was. I just can't tell you how insulting and offensive it is to go through that. When, to me, okay, when you watch the video, don't you think I appeared to have known what I was doing?
Well, yes, and I would expect you to know exactly what that you were doing in that aspect. Of course, now, one of the things that I noticed on the video is you actually have videoed something that's not public, and that's because you got close enough to the desk to see behind the desk, and it's not really a public area. And then
wait, let me say something about that that's important, because anything that's in the public lobby is for public view. I don't care if it's a picture of your kid or a complaint someone made or a police report. It has to be out of public view. That's what all that restricted part of your building is for. Anything that I can see in public, yes.
But it's restricted.
No, not the lobby.
Now, what I would expect is the officer that was there to ask you to step back away from the desk.
That wouldn't be okay. No. No, it's a public lobby.
When we talked to, we did discuss this whole thing, policy-wise, command levels, and they've actually interjected some policy changes already since your visit.
What? Please tell me what. Please tell me what.
That will assist my officers. One of the things is what they went in and discussed police lobby, the precinct lobby, more in depth than the policy previously had in it.
Uh-huh.
So as far as making changes, we made a number of changes that we actually need to make.
Could you tell me what they are? Because that's what I'm after is what are you in?
It would be identifying places that are not public, like, somebody just walks to the back, they can do it without any signage. So we actually added some signage about the back behind the desk area, stuff like that.
What?
The discussion was the desk that several of us had concerns with, and I'm concerned with the safety from the officer standpoint that changing the way the desk is set up, and then that actually, addressing the lobby situation, because the policy at first doesn't really, it really addresses more on if I'm outside, if I'm on a call, or if I'm in the field
Uh-huh.
type situation, and then we got more specific with the lobby itself.
Okay. Is the whole premise of I can film anything that I can see in a public space.
Right.
Yeah. So just removing anything that I shouldn't be able to see is the department's responsibility to put behind the doors that I'm not allowed to go
That's
into.
why I'm saying your visit,
That's great.
although not exactly what a police officer wants to have to deal with all the time, it was a positive thing if we let it stay that way. It did help us point out some of the things that needed to be pointed out.
That's great.
And it did have some training effect that on Saturday that we had a long discussion about, and then that's a trickle-down effect. Training is a trickle-down effect,
Mhm.
man down. So everybody under the command that I'm in has been negotiating.
He knew I was going to post this, so no, they're not going to try to figure out a way.
And then the difference, it wasn't really specific about lobbying and what now is more specific. So you actually have helped us. Some of us do the things we want to do anyway.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
So, and that's part of this, and with the discussion about what the outcome may be, that's part of what we try to do, the outcome. And, we saw several things that we needed to change. We saw several things that needed to be retrained. We saw several things that needed to be changed in entirety.
Great.
And then some aspects we saw, policy issues that were bound to, and that need to be addressed also. There's training that's been discussed, that's been trickled down, retraining of the current and new additions and additions.
I'm so proud to hear that.
So, and that's why I want to keep it an open and positive discussion about those things. And, of course, it's not really something that it's on your side of that, but please have concerns with that kind of thing too.
Let me ask you. I would really like to know, since you weren't there because I know exactly what all those officers were. Well, it's a safety issue. What, I said, my y'all have guns, I have a camera. It was ridiculousness as far as me. And
On our end, see, and if I can kind of go to that side of that,
please do.
I'd be glad to say from our side off that safety issue kind of thing. Some of it is more safety for family and safety for after the fact kind of thing. Now, having somebody poke a camera up in your face and get into a personal space shouldn't happen, because certain things that people do in personal space can be considered a threat. If you want to hit me with that thing, I don't know, because I don't know what's going on. One of the things that we're concerned with is
I was going to hit him with the camera.
that's the thing that,
Yeah. I mean, that's obvious. And if you just ask me, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Like, who's going to see that, and then, right or wrong, follow up and try to do something to me and or my family? Because you know the doxing
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Right.
So that kind of thing can happen to officers, and I don't know if it's an intent, but that may be a
No.
consequence. If somebody disagrees with what the police officer
Sorry.
says or does, whether it's right or wrong. I'm not saying right or wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying hits the media, and bam, I had a bad experience with an officer, and I'm gonna get him for that. So we've had those things, and then that's a concern with every officer in the back of their mind. And then you have to really watch certain things. You don't know exactly what you're dealing with until you do ask questions. You do ask, see where they're coming from, and because the same type activity that you do on your side, we have people
Leslie, that's exactly what was happening.
not all together with us that do some of the same things, and so that's a concern. And then when you go to the far end of it, they actually make a 22 caliber pistol that is built like a cell phone. So, and a lot of times when I call
Y'all hear that bullshit like my phone was a camera? I mean, my camera was a gun.
and with another agenda, with another motivation, I try to do this so I can do that. I distract you, kind of like I'm going to act like I'm cooperating, but I'm really looking for a place to run, or advantage to do something to them. So I'm not saying that that's what it is, but that's always in our mind with the safety situation.
Yeah. I let them check it for bullets.
But like I said, not everybody, normal people don't really understand some of the things that we do, because they don't see it, they don't experience it, and they don't.
Actually, let me say that experienced First Amendment auditors do. We do understand all of that, but being hypersensitive, paranoid, worried, it cannot affect the way you treat a photographer. So no matter how they feel about it emotionally, it cannot be taken out on the person filming.
Has there been anybody that had got your video and then went after you and your family and your finances because of that? Because I'm not aware of that.
No.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm aware of the other side of it, though.
Oh, well, okay.
And I'm aware of the threats that were made after you were here.
Would you mind sharing that? Would you mind sharing? Because I know nothing of what the aftermath of other people. I have no idea.
Well, it's a consequence of it. I'm not, like I said, what happened after you left, my front desk inundated with phone calls.
Mhm.
Ha 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 ha.
One, trying to find out about a complaint form
Right.
that what we really don't have, because the video kind of left it like I said, it's kind of it's scares we're not telling you the truth that we didn't have the.
I thought probably you didn't, but I didn't actually trust that. I mean, I didn't. Yeah.
So everybody that saw your video kind of took it like I looked at it, and I said, well, that sounds like we're lying.
Yeah, it did. It did have the appearance. Yeah.
And then we weren't even going to give you that. We weren't going to take your complaint, which obviously we did take the complaint, and we did.
I had to go back.
Do the change that we're supposed to. However, that happens sometimes that we take it here, and then the person goes to hide also, and they usually get put together, and the normal course is you come to the front. If it happens.
Okay. All right.
Like you were in Tillman, I would see the Colonel, Lieutenant Colonel Tillman, that would get that on the front end.
Did you see their video?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Of course, now.
I know you.
Even if I hadn't tried to find it myself, it was sent to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. That topped off anything that happened at your department.
Yeah, I got people that sent it to me from elsewhere. Did you see this? Of course, like I said, I have experience from both sides of the law enforcement thing.
Which sides?
We all have families.
Yeah.
So I got that from several people, and usually the comment, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yeah." Of course,
Well, just so you know, I get death threats almost daily.
it's just. Well, I would hope not.
I do.
But like I said, I can't be accountable for those. But it's one of those things that happen when we do what we do.
Yeah.
Attack police,
But people attack auditors.
yeah, I know.
So it's either way. But let me tell you, at least 50% of all of my interactions are positive, and the only variable in every video is the officer. I don't do anything different. I'm nice. Can I help you, think? No, thank you though. Can I help you? No, thank you though. And well, what are you doing? I'm a journalist. I'm just getting video of the public property. I mean, there's.
A lot of that is what they don't. It's not normal. It's not a normal thing to have someone come in like that.
Yeah.
Because when you say you're an auditor, someone's like, okay, what is that supposed to mean?
I didn't use the word,
On the other hand,
but journalist is pretty specific.
when you say you're a reporter, most of the time when we have a reporter that comes into the lobby, they have gone to the public information office
Mhm.
and talk to the public information officer, and then we get a heads up on so and so from this media outlet is going to come by. And so it didn't happen like that. So sometimes when you change the script, it takes a minute to get back on the
Mhm.
script. And I think that's what we did. We had something that came in the wrong script, and it took us a minute to get back on script. And like I said, some of the issues, it did have a positive outcome on my side, and I hope it ends up having a positive on yours.
Oh, I definitely hope so. I mean, my goal is the accountability and to make a change in your department that will serve you and the community.
If that's your goal,
Yeah.
if that's your goal, you have immediately met your goal in a positive manner.
I'm so glad to hear that.
And like I said, I would have said I invite you to come in and talk, because
Right. Oh, I would have loved to have sat and talked to you, and if I was close to you, I would have come in today. You know.
Well, if you're in Nashville,
Yeah.
that's a good stretch, and whatnot. But like I said, we all want a positive outcome from everything that happens, and that's what I said. It depends on if we're allowed to have that happen. I think there's already been a lot of positive on my end. Now, I can only talk from what happened at Appling Farms,
Mhm.
and then some of the changes, department-wise, that will affect other precincts. Now, some of the other issues that you ran into, I can't really go into because it's not my
Right.
it's not my precinct. It's not my that would be the colonel there.
If I were you, I wouldn't want to talk about it either.
No, but I guess the good thing about it is I can use that, your video, and talk about expectations from my office. As the precinct commander, it's my expectation when you have that happen.
Hey, I have a great idea.
And some of it,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, like I said, some of it is, like, I understand this, but I don't know if I would want that to happen. And that's the only way we get to see. Of course, we have the officers not the same as they used to be anymore either. I don't know how long you've been doing this, and I don't know how long you've been experienced as police officers, but
About a year and a half. About a year and a half now. About a year and a half.
but you've mainly seen millennial police officers, and a lot of those are not that's not the same people as I was. I have to understand this millennial mindset.
Yeah. It's an adjustment. I'm obviously not a very young.
I am, but I've been on the job 33 years.
Well, you saw my video, so you can approximate my age. So I'm not a millennial. But I know what you're saying. Social media, and let me tell you, social media is an exposure. And what I've seen in the last years that led me to begin this was people being shot for doing nothing and being pulled over for driving while black. I mean, those videos exist. Wait, let me just say, I'm not saying your department.
I've seen the other side of it.
Yeah.
Claim that was made, and it's really not on my agenda. Of course, now
Not your department. I mean, just in America.
like that. You got people everywhere. You got and when they say one bad video doesn't spoil the whole bunch. No, that's kind of the other way. If you get bad publicity, it kind of takes over all the other stuff that's been done positive.
Yeah.
So we have to deal with that side of it too. But like I said, and that's like having to do with things. A lot of times I tell people, you have a right to do a lot of things.
Mhm.
But sometimes just because you have the right to do it, you might not need to do it.
Mhm.
Some people have, it's like my guys, and I can go to the police side of this. We stop a lot of people for a lot of violations, but we don't write every single person who we stop a ticket. So if you're an absolutist and whatnot, the idea would be that every time an officer saw a violation and made a stop, that a citation should be written. And I don't really believe that. I think we should stop for the violation, talk to the person, see what's going on, and if they need a citation or they demand one, it's one of those. Yeah, we'll go ahead and write it and go from there. Otherwise, what I can do is try to stop. What I'm really trying to stop is dangerous and or reckless behavior,
Mhm.
and then make the advice we want. So, and then we get a positive conduct.
Gotcha.
I got stopped, but
Right.
I like to have as many constant contacts as you can. But, and that's on the police side. So, they don't have to write a ticket every time they stop.
I'm glad you encouraged that because, giving that warning or, you're, yeah, it's just the, yeah.
So, you're probably used to the way that the interstate is there.
Yeah, it's equivalent. It's equivalent, yeah.
I got a family that lives up in Nashville, and when I visit them, it's like, I don't know what's worse, Memphis traffic or Nashville.
Well, let me tell you, when I started doing this, if the speed limit is 30, I set my cruise control at 28. So even if I'm going downhill, I don't hit 31, because anybody who knows who I am, they would celebrate and try to find anything in the world to get me on. Let me tell you, I take great risk at this, but let me tell you, if you ever come to Nashville to visit, send me an email, or you actually have my phone number now. I'd love to meet you for coffee and just talk. I would, without video or camera, I would love to relate to you in your role in law enforcement, and you relate to a citizen who is concerned with law enforcement. I would love to do that. I would love it if, I'm sure everyone in that department can't stand me, and I mean they hated me then, so they can't hate me less now. I mean,
well, I don't know if that's really so. Objectively, in the front end, I don't want to deal with that. But if you're objective about it and you're trying to change things positive in a positive manner, and that's what 99.9% of the officers that work here and the rest of us are trying to do. But it only takes one that's doing some jacked up stuff.
I'll tell you.
Give somebody an opinion.
Yeah.
That we all do that. And of course that's on the same thing. You have one person that does what you do that's totally out there and not really doing what they should, and pushing things to points where they actually are violating certain laws.
Oh, people get arrested.
They're not really doing.
Yeah.
They're not really doing the rest.
Behave is how there's good cops, bad cops.
Yeah.
I mean that's just the way it is. There's some that get arrested almost every day, blah blah blah, and I don't know. This just are pleasant. I think I'm a personable person. I don't come across aggressive.
I did appreciate your positive comments on the fence and the surrounding, because I try to keep things nice.
I loved it. I try to keep the person I got here in the middle of some construction and some mess that's going on here, but that's neither here nor there. I'm trying to clean up the parking lot, clean up the buildings like that. I thought it was gorgeous, and I was excited. I don't know where that barbecue smell came from, because I didn't see any barbecue place, but I have a real high sense.
It's the Daniel Burger King.
Burger King? Right
across from the Precinct down by Whitney. It's almost terrible for me, because I enjoy eating outside.
Yeah, I do too. You saw me. I do too, don't I?
Burger King is one of the best places because the charbroiled burger.
That's what made that smell? Okay, that's what was making it.
They're so close that it's annoying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as I was walking, I'm like, y'all, I smell barbecue. I start panning around. I'm like, I don't see a barbecue place. I'm telling you, I smell barbecue.
The charbroiled grills is sometimes some days when it closes down here.
And it calls you over there.
It's really especially if you're trying to cut back a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but see, like I said, I want to make this in your state, your situation, a positive thing for all of us, and I think it has actually done that.
great.
I have done that. Do you ever go to the press game?
No, I actually don't get into any sports. Or have you ever come for it? Have you ever come for it? Oh man, I want to go cop watching downtown, but someone tried that and someone drunk smashed the guy, busted him in his face, smashed the guy's camera, all that. But he wasn't even. He was just filming, and I want to go down there just because you know how many police officers are there because of the huge crowd.
I think probably like try to get as much or worse from somebody that.
Right. Yeah. Because our officers are so used to tourism.
Well, they don't have the same. They don't have the same guidelines. They don't really have the same strength that most of us do, even though we are what we are. But so in the big picture, Reba. By the way, Reba, one of my most favorite country artists.
Oh. It's another auditor who, because 51550 is not an easy thing to say, but I chose that. You can see the wording of it. You get the code and code. Yeah, I thought it was cute. But someone, huh?
Have a radio that plays with. That was what they call me, 50.
Are you sure? Oh, 50, okay, yeah. And the 5150, that one. So that was, and most people ask me what it is that haven't heard of it. But a lot of auditors are like News Now, whoever, or so-and-so Guardian, or something like that. But I wanted mine to be different. But someone said, I've got to call you something, Reba. And ever since then, it just stuck. I answer to it. And actually, I've accidentally introduced myself to normal people as Reba by accident, but it's just my, so someone will have.
It's good for me because that's like I said, that's Reba from.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool if it had been Reba? That would have been really cool.
I would have recognized you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, obviously no relation. I cannot sing like her.
So in the big picture, Reba,
Mhm.
when we
Richard Smith, right.
what I do is I write up what we talk about, what we discuss, and whatnot. What I'd like to see done is have you know that your visit was positive here. It did spark some change in not only policy, but some of the issues that I'd like to see done in precincts for us, for others. And then retraining, the re-emphasis on the training, which specifically addressed lobbies and stuff like that, which my officers didn't actually have that specifically addressed, which is important for us as command to pass down good training to our people.
It comes from the leadership.
Now,
Yeah.
that you did. So, what I'd like to do is have you know we've done all that, and that the situation that you saw here, specifically at Appling, should never happen again. Never.
Thank you.
And go with that. And that's where I'm at.
I appreciate that. It really means a lot. And I do have two things, and I hope I can remember the second one by the time I finish the first. I had an experience in Gallatin, Tennessee. Since you're from Nashville, you're probably familiar with Gallatin. Family Nashville. You're familiar with Gallatin? Okay. I went there. Like, it's crazy.
How was your scale? That's what I was going to ask you. Like, how is your scale? Is it like a A, B, C, D, F scale, or is it just a pass, fail?
you know, if it's a great pass, I say pass. If it's a huge, if it's just you ask for ID and I decline, it's not a fail. It's just an amendment, and then people can, you know, judge it how they wish. And yeah, and but my bar for fail is a lot higher than a lot of people's. You know,
as far as it's not an ABC.
No.
I said, look, I would rather say that we got a D if we were on a scale. But you know,
the only way you could have gone lower is if you'd arrested me. I mean, and you know, that would have been a crying shame. So.
I damn sure hope that excuse me.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen. But
It was about to. I mean, you know, there's no way that I can say that or you or anyone can say that for certain, but I can tell you being there, that was exactly what was about to happen.
That's what you felt.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, period. I had to leave. So, you know, and I don't know what I was going to be charged with exactly, you know, whether it was, who knows. But, you know,
we've talked about a lot of that kind of thing, too. And where has it become something that you didn't intend and whatnot. So, you know, there's a big discussion about that also. Because some will try to get arrested.
yes, yeah.
Some of them.
It's bizarre to me.
And I've seen them where they're, you know, you're borderline and my borderline and two different things.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, so it's like, where do we go from here? Is the good thing. I told you come back, you come in, you ask for the colonel, you talk to me, we sit down and talk. That's good. You told me to come up there. If I come up there, give you a call. You know,
Oh, that'd be.
like we're on the same page.
Oh yeah, it'd be wonderful. I will have to come back there. Someone's offered that lives there to do it for me, but I'd rather come and do it myself and follow up. And I actually would like to have like a day off in Memphis. I've never been to Beale Street or had any Memphis barbecue or anything like that. So, you know, I would like to come back and it be a more positive, do some public records requests and things like that. And maybe, I'll tell you, one thing I would love to happen is, I know that no one would really be open to this, but I would love to talk to officers and explain what we do. You know, just an educational video.
So that may be something that if you do come back, you may want to sit down with our legal advisor,
Mhm.
who has a lot to do with policy
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. So he was actually open to coming out.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah.
I just when you left, I was like, no, I think from the command level, from this side of this type thing, I think it would be more detrimental for us to go after you and folks see that we went after you, because even if we explain, hey, this is what's going to happen, folks don't trust us.
Right. I sure didn't at that point.
Had him come back, come on back inside the precinct. It's like, oh yeah, right. Watch this. But that he did say he was going to come out. But that maybe you can come back, give us a call, and since you have my number, you have a contact in Memphis. If that's something you want, I wouldn't mind. You know, passing the information up to see if he wanted to meet you somewhere. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm close to Nashville, maybe out here in the conference room.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Stuff. And then that, of course, like I said, we really try to accommodate. And you know, we still have the job we have to do, but we try to do it within, you know, the legal combat, you know, and accommodating people that have situations and stuff like that. So, and then we've had outside people come in and talk to academy classes and stuff like that.
Well,
We try to prevent a problem that would not be good for anybody. It's not good to have the public calling my desk and threatening officers
Yeah.
when we have business that we have to conduct.
Mhm.
And, so that's,
Well, say if I did something wrong, and my children were in the car, and you're like, well, I don't know why. I didn't know that why your driver's license. I didn't know my driver's license were expired, or just something. And I'm like, but I have my kids with me. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. There are consequences to something that you do, and I'm sorry, y'all don't go home and worry about what happened to my kids that day. There's consequences to actions, and y'all obviously suffered for them. And so we suffer for ours, you suffer for yours. And I don't want death threats or any kind of intimidation calls. But what it is the public crying out of, hey, look what you're doing, man, and we're watching you, and we care. We care. Please help.
there's actually a couple different sides of that one also. We're bound to enforce the law too, and some people disagree with any law whatsoever, and it's like, I don't really have a choice, on address it or not.
Yeah.
Some of the laws that we address, we don't really, there's some arrests that I've made in my career that were not really something I wanted to do,
Yeah.
but circumstances dictated that I had to.
Right.
And, that's what happens to us sometimes.
Oh,
But,
one other thing, the second thing that I was going to say is I have, since what is his name? Is it Gandy from Gallatin? What is his name? The chief of police, you said you know?
I know him because I've been to several meetings.
He's a real nice guy.
Yeah.
I went there first a long time ago, and they ID'd and then followed me around and then got the chief. Okay, the chief came out and I said, sir, I don't appreciate the behavior, and this guy is an IT guy and has no business confronting me in the first place, and he's not even an officer and trained how to deal with the public was ridiculous. And then, trying to tell me I had to ID is ridiculous. And I was comfortable. I didn't even need to make a formal complaint. I'll take care of it, ma'am. And I believed him. And let me tell you, I went back only about maybe a month ago. And I went, and the people had no idea who I was, so it wasn't like when I come back to you next month, y'all know who I was. It was totally different people. And anyway, I mean, the most wonderful, wonderful experience. Then I went cop watching after that, and so wonderful. And if you took the video of the audit I did at the department and the video of the awesome cop watch interaction that I had with the supervisor and the motorcycle cop, and you use those two videos and have your officers watch them, you will see what you would want your department to emulate as far as how they interact with people. Because, like I said, the officer is always the variable with me. And so I get these great experiences, and then when I get the bad ones, but maybe if they could just see those two videos, would you mind writing them down, looking at them, and considering maybe sharing them? Okay.
Like I said, I have to, you have to educate yourself on things. If you find something that you're not familiar with, I've always done that. And,
that's great.
So this is something that I wasn't really familiar with, so that's education. I always tell my kids that knowledge is power.
Oh yeah, I have an internal need to suck up knowledge like a sponge. I just, even if it's a single word I don't know the meaning, I have to look it up right then, and then not only know the meaning but know how to use it. So I love learning, and dealing this is a huge learning curve. Of every single law and y'all's policies and all of that in order to protect myself, and, it's a lot to learn. And, I have a job, I have a family and a normal life, but I literally do all of this as a civic duty. I'm volunteering, whereas y'all are getting paid to be public servants. I'm a voluntary public servant, and we have kind of the same goal. But, and if both come together like that, then everyone wins from it. And that's what I want to see.
Well, I think that's an outcome that you've actually pretty much attained here.
I'm really happy to hear it. I'm so happy.
And then also you'll have actually made an effect on the department, and then what I consider a positive outcome.
I'm so happy to hear that.
From the inside. And, like I said, though, it's not something that I want to
I know.
deal with. And it's like, nobody wants to be told they're wrong.
Yeah.
Never. It's like, that's one of our problems with stopping cars. It's like, yeah, you actually did violate them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not the matter of the violation. It may not even be a matter of you think you're going to lose any money. It's a matter that I stopped you, and I'm telling you you were wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people don't want to be told they're wrong.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. If you would look up the Gallatin ones, you know how to just look at my whole channel, right? Just subscribe to my channel.
Yeah.
Okay. If you just go back within the last few months, it's a Gallatin, Tennessee First Amendment audit. And then on the same day, there's one, it's called Awesome Interaction Cop Watching. And look at those two videos. And then you will see the polar opposite of exactly what happened there. And you will be amazed, and you'll be like, wow. And then I think you would be like, that's exactly how, things should go. And wow. And maybe if you shared it with maybe just your department, say, oh, look at what she did here and how it was handled. Maybe we could go more this way with it. To use a real life experience with real police officers in the same state, in the same situation that I was in with y'all. And just show them what the public loves. And let me tell you, your videos will be mirrored by other people. They will be viewed for years to come. Won't end this week. And since you're making positive change, not necessarily apologizing, but the consequences will last for a while, like it does for citizens. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with that, but
I'd like to see us do something that will go to the other side. Since we as the department don't,
I'm sorry, just messing with you.
Hey, this happened, and this is this and this is that. I can't really go there with it.
yeah.
But I would hope if you're asked about it, that you can I guess relay some positive that came out of it. It wasn't all negative, and it wasn't all as it appeared. And right now, we do take the complaints and we do forward them up. We do have multiple ways that we do that. And like I said, 99.99% of the time, the officers are out there doing a good job. And then we're human too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have an issue that's an at-home issue that affects the work.
Oh, definitely. I saw one video where this officer was terrible to a truck driver. And the truck driver said, look, man, I don't know if you're having a bad day or what's happened or anything, but, this just isn't right. And the guy was mean to him. He went back to his car. He came back and he said, you're right. I've had a really bad day. I shouldn't have taken it out on you like that. And I was like, oh, this is great. it shows the human side. When, and I loved that video. It's just a truck driver. I love the video. But, I do understand and empathize that y'all are all human beings. Your sons, daughters, you have children and families. I don't see you. You're not the enemy. And we shouldn't feel like you are. And y'all shouldn't feel like we are, And anyway, I feel it's been very positive. But let me ask you, at what point will I be able to record request and find out the changes that were made and the consequences for the behaviors for the officers? Because I don't want to come and do public records request on something.
Now, the records request for the policy is, they put it out, but it's not in the manual yet.
Uh-huh.
Changes are there, but they're not in the manual, so it would have to be when they publish it in a bulletin.
Mm-hmm.
It usually comes out in several days after they make the changes. They put out a bulletin on a policy procedure change, something like that.
Okay.
Now, as far as what happens with the officers,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're trying to nail down. Most of that is pretty much up to me, and what I suggest, what I think I need to do, and of course now, like I said, when we started, we try to start at the most minimum
Mm-hmm.
for us, as we do for someone else. Warnings, tickets, arrests, try to start at the minimum. And what I have to do is try to look at the whole thing and then try to see what we've done. So, like I said, we've made a number of changes in the policy. We discussed the policy with all the command, and the command down the line,
Mm-hmm.
and where it did not address lobby specific, it does. So we made all those changes, and then followed up with that. I think the department is kind of takes some of the brunt of some of the things that happened,
Mm-hmm.
that we didn't do a good enough job. So I hate to suspend somebody that I didn't do a good enough job on.
Look, you cannot, it comes from the leadership. But let me explain something to you. It's not your failure that so much made that happen. It's how you hold them accountable now that's going to set the standard. It's, are you going to tolerate that and give them a slap on the wrist, or are you really going to do something about it? And that's the leadership part that comes into play, that's going to trickle down, and it's going to set a tone and standard of consequences for behaviors. And I will tell you, definitely, what was the taller man, his name? Because how do you spell it? Is it Maynard? A-D-A-R? Ader. Okay, thank you. A-D-A-R. A-D-A-R. Okay. Oh, Ada. Okay. Adair. Adair. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. If he does not have, if he's not suspended without pay, I would never accept that as being anything less than acceptable. Of course, I can't control how you do handle it, but I don't see how anybody would not think that would be necessary with that one particular person. The guy at the front desk, you saw how much I tried to help him. I tried my best. Like, I said, okay, let's just start over here. I won't point the camera at you. Just, if you just say, look, let me explain. I mean, I tried so hard with him. He has to get something instead of, hey, man, do that better tomorrow. There has to be something there for him, too. But if I cannot comprehend the Adair, not being suspended. I'm sorry. I would never. I don't think anybody would. And I think you're feeling like you failed. So if you like you should be the responsible party. No, where you're responsible is how you handle it today. You see what I'm saying?
Actually, I share some of us. My command, those of us share some of the responsibility of stuff that we didn't specifically go into, which we actually probably with the air these days, the things that are happening now, we should probably been really specific.
Yeah. So when will I find out how you do handle it with the officers we've discussed?
Well, since we're kind of at a situation that I don't know if I want to suspend people, so for something that we could actually should have done some more on, and we have.
Y'all don't leave.
Since your visit, I don't know how much good it's going to do to suspend somebody.
Okay, let me try to explain it.
What we suspend somebody for is to ensure that they understand that they've done something and that they won't do it again. And if depending on how much it is that's how you kind of determine that. Now, look at the situation and see what we did after your visit and some of the changes that are coming. That I don't know if that's I don't know if we've already done that.
Yeah.
I can pretty much guarantee what happened again.
Yeah.
Now, if the things, if variables change, different things change, something different might happen. Like I said, not everybody that does what you do stays within the law because they have some that go outside the law.
Yeah, and then you arrest them. I mean, it's a simple equation. I mean, if I had broken a law, yeah, I would have been arrested. I mean, what do you say about it? If I broke the law, you arrest me, and okay. I took a lot of bail money. And I'll tell you what I did after I left y'all's department. At the hotel, I got a Sharpie pen and started writing down my family's phone numbers and contacts in case I was sent to jail, just going back to try to file a complaint. That's how threatened I feel, and I still can't get it all off. That's how bad it was that I had to put my children's and mother's phone numbers written on my arm in Sharpie because I would have nothing sitting in jail. And that fearful just to go back to make a complaint. I mean, imagine that. And I'll tell you, I would like to know when you do decide, how you decide. But, not suspending. Okay, you already have the policies. I have a copy I could get within minutes where I could read you all your policies. The policies already exist. They already exist. They already know. They already knew. They were already trained. There's no excuse of like, well, since this never happened before, we're going to let it go this time. And now, no, they need to be held accountable for that.
I don't really think we're in that aspect. I don't think no matter what I do, I'm letting it go. We haven't let it go. We've made changes not only to existing policy, but
Y'all don't go away.
done the training and immediately.
I'm so proud of that.
Not down the line. Not we're going to do it. We're going to get to it, or we'll put it in next year's in-service or whatever. But immediately we address each and every desk officer for sure, and then the roll calls have been addressed, and then the command staff have been addressed, and which includes Lieutenant Colonel Aiden, part of the command staff, and so and then like I said, when you idea that we've done nothing.
No, absolutely not. No, I completely am very happy that you immediately started implementing change and educating and everything.
Y'all
I'm
don't
very happy
leave.
that
Y'all
policies
stay
are
for
gonna
the end of
change,
this.
and I'm excited about that. But that being said, those two officers are a separate subject. You know, when can I find out what you're going to do? Because I'm getting the impression you're not going to suspend anybody at all.
I don't want to. Now, of course, you know, with stuff like that, you know, I've got people I work for too. So, you know, chain of command goes up, and I can talk to them about what we talked about. And, yeah, but no, I would rather not suspend anybody and go on and us know that we won't have that happen if we come back and have a situation that we know that you can have a positive outcome on and do that. That's what I'd like to be able to do with your understanding. And of course now it doesn't negate me from doing it, but it would be a waste of time to have called and talked and discussed all kind of stuff and relay to you the fact that your complaint was made, relay to the fact that everything's been done in the few days that you left.
I'm proud of that. Proud.
To go, we haven't done anything. So that's
Oh, yeah.
what I would like to do. But, like I said, you know, it is kind of one of those things that they leave in my hands. And like I said, I do feel like we, as command, as leadership, should have done a little better job. And I do take some of the responsibility of what you had without going to, you know, one side or the other, without having to debate anything.
Mhm.
So, you know, and leave it at that way. That's where I'm at.
So, to be clear, have you just not decided how you're going to handle it yet? Or are you saying you're not going to suspend anybody at all?
I'm saying I don't want to
That's
suspend anybody. I don't want to do any form of discipline in the manner when we do that. There's other procedures that we have to do on it. So, you know, I don't know if you want some type of punitive, you know, situation, or we wanted to affect the change, and you did exactly what you came to do.
I do. It's just, I'm telling you that one officer coming out of that with no consequences is unfathomable to me. I just don't understand. Huh?
There is consequences.
For him.
Consequences is you have to own up to being told wrong. You have to own up to new training. You have to own up to new expectations. And then you have to know if you have a situation that comes up and that's your response, then there's no really other choice into how you accept it as, I mean, how you apply it would be somewhat of a disciplinary action then, not a situation where we have changed a number of things. We do things different now.
Okay. So, just to be clear, so you're just going to leave it at we've changed policies and making changes, which I appreciate very greatly. And everyone who have watched the videos will be very happy to hear that. But you're not going to do anything besides retraining all of the officers? Is that, I'm just trying to make sure it's clear that you're not going to do anything other than that.
Yeah, keep listening.
Well, you're talking about
The specific officer.
issue charges and
Suspend him.
or do reprimands and or whatnot. So
Yeah.
what comes along with the retraining and stuff like that would be some type of counseling counseling's also,
Yeah.
which are, it's just below disciplinary,
Mhm.
and it's a documented situation where we do counseling.
Okay. I made it clear that I can't imagine not suspending that one officer. But if that's your
What is suspension? What is the suspension going to do?
it will
But
give him consequences for what he actually did wrong that was already policy.
Well, because then they have a right to come in and defend themselves.
Okay.
Depending on what they say, and I don't know, what necessarily that might be, but there's always the two sides of the situation, which a lot of times, and if you go to the court side of things, some people who go to court if they've done something wrong are not found guilty. And
You have both sides of the video. We're not in a court of law. It's not subjective.
right, well,
It's not subjective. Well, you have my footage, their footage. It's everything was there. It's like standing there when you have my footage and theirs.
and part of it, like I said, part of it was when I looked at the video, you're actually interacting, and one of the things that I looked at was the confusion about the complaint form thing. I don't think we ever got past that complaint form thing, because when I look at it, it's like, well, you don't believe that we don't have a complaint form. Well, we don't. So
That's almost a side note. I mean that was just learning that you didn't. But when Officer Adair, is that how you say it? Am I doing it right now? Adair. Okay. When he was going to take the complaint about himself, I mean, come on, what kind of sense are you making out of that? I mean, he was obviously already defending the other officer. No, I mean, so what, complain to them about themselves as far as a verbal I mean, me telling them y'all suck at this means nothing because they think they're right. And even though policy already states in training.
No, that's where all the changes in the counseling and the training comes in.
Okay.
You actually change what happened in that that has to be done, and most of it has been, but other than the formal counseling.
Okay. All right. I do want you to give me a call if you ever come into town. I would love to meet with you, have coffees or something. Or if you come for a Predators game, I'll actually show up to one.
Well, we can do that. Plus, like I said, when you were here, the legal advisor was coming out, and if you want to come back and you want to talk to a legal advisor, give me a call, and I'll kind of go between.
Okay, that sounds great.
Since we spent a long time on the phone.
Yeah. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I appreciate the dialogue, your openness, and your transparency about how you're handling it. And
Of course, I would have liked actually the day that was there, instead of having them come out, that you came in and we talked about it, but it didn't appear that was going to happen either. So anyway.
well, one thing about my channel, I don't have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers or anything, but I think my core viewers appreciate the follow-up that I do. And I think that people will be happy to hear our conversation and the dialogue that we have had, and we'll be very happy about that. I do want to tell you, because since obviously in the beginning I thought you were a part of internal affairs. And we did talk about having the complaint forms at every department. They even suggested maybe having a lockbox outside of each one that you could just slip one in, even when no one's there, at night or something. And I hope that they do try to implement that change, just to have complaint forms, and then they can hand it in to anybody and not have to sign in to get it, and handle it that way. So I hope that, but that's not you. That's not your.
That's actually not. That probably wouldn't be internal affairs either. That would be somebody there making a suggestion to their command, and then their command coming in, and we would have to change an entire policy to implement that. So what some people don't understand, you can't just throw a form out there.
Oh yeah, I understand. That's the whole process. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because Memphis is CALIA compliant.
Uh-huh. That sets you an even higher standard.
There are steps that you have to take when you implement new paperwork and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That it has to be compliant, and that would be an entirely new form altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did a video explaining to people about CALIA and TALIA and all of that, and post. Yeah, and post. And I always check departments before I even go there to see if they are CALIA, because it's a higher standard. And, so I'm familiar with what you're saying and everything. So, I look forward
like
to.
I said, you are, if you put it on, some people don't know what that is. Of course, just like the same way, you can't guarantee that the people that you got on your channel that watch you, that subscribe to your videos, that are all level-headed, if you would.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Some of them obviously are not, because we have those calls.
Well, that's just a percentage of any population of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So that was like I had to tell my guys when they were asking. Some people were calling, well, how do I do a complaint? I said, well, tell them how to do it.
Yeah.
Just tell them how to file the complaint. Just it's easy. Or how do I do a report? If I want to make a report, how do I do that? But when you have normally 10 or 15 calls during a shift, and now you have 110 calls a shift.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I got you.
That kind of overloads our searches.
Yeah, I understand that.
Some of the things, and then some of the things we just
Richard, wait, it's almost over.
Mhm.
Public information. We don't have anything to do with some of that, and then some of the media stuff. Media goes to PIO, and then there. So anyhow.
Well, let me tell you this that happened in Davidson County. Since you're familiar with this county, the size of it, everything about it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The sheriff's department here doesn't have arrest powers. They gave that away a long time ago. And yeah, they do civil warrants, court and jail guards. That's what they do. And so anyway, I had gone to police headquarters to file a compliment on a superlative officer that I met. And when I was going down the road, I saw this humongous freaking mobile jail, but I had no idea what it was. And they had a big canopy set out there, and they were kicked back in chairs and table, and I thought, well, this must be some kind of PR thing. They had the flashing lights and everything. I thought, this must be some neat PR thing. I'm going to go get some video of the big truck and, ask them, hey, what is this for, And the guy was awful. And he refused to tell me his name. It's right there on my shirt. It's right there on my shirt. And I started pleading with the guy. I was like, look, why won't you just talk to me? And he literally wouldn't speak to me and just stood there and recorded me. I didn't care if he took pictures of me, but refused to even speak to me. And I'm pleading, please, sir, all I want to do is ask you what this big, beautiful truck is for. I mean, I just wanted to ask you a simple question. Why are you treating the public this way? And one of the key things I remember saying is, if you ever wonder why there's a disconnect between law enforcement and the community, it begins with your behavior. And what came of that, unbelievably to me, especially since I don't have a large subscriber base, was within a week, the sheriff, who I can't stand, never could stand him. He's arrogant. But anyway, he did an interview with Channel 2, and he said that their policies, they changed their policies, just like you're doing. They changed their policies. He still said he didn't feel like the officers did anything wrong. So, but that's his arrogant nature anyway. I mean, I've never seen him in a way that I've ever liked him. He's just arrogant. But he said his officers did nothing wrong, but they implemented policies changes immediately. And so, you know, for me, that was a big achievement. Yeah, and what's happening there is a big achievement, and I'm really proud that you're doing those steps, just as they have here, and I hope that you see that the good that is trying to be made for most auditors, you know, that don't go outside of the law with it, you know.
Yeah, well, like I said, you know, there's good and bad and everything. Like I said, I'm sure there's ones that on your end of it that's not good. And I got to admit, there's probably some police officers that shouldn't be.
Yeah. I mean, as in everything, you know.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I think that one bad apple don't spoil a whole bunch. That's not true. I think one bad apple can spoil a lot.
Yeah, especially that's the one that's going to get the attention. You know, because like I might have a video that gets 800 views. I have one that I've had up for a year that's had 600,000. And you know, so it depends on the behavior of the officer. That's always a variable in the equation. And so, you know, hopefully it'll make a change for the department and not just your precinct, but everything. And maybe it'll be a better experience. You know, Memphis is a higher crime city than Nashville, and I know your challenges are different. You know, and I understood that when I came there, so I made sure I took, like I said, plenty of bail money with me. You know, I did. I saved up, made sure I had plenty of bail. You know, all of that, because I really didn't think I was going to leave the city unarrested. So, and it took me being professional to get out.
Depending on where you were, you're probably less likely to have to worry about that than having stuff stolen out of your car and or getting robbed.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that.
Now, so it's 11, a little after 11.
Yeah.
And, you know, you said you went to IA.
Yeah.
And so I haven't heard anything from IA or anybody that's above me until just now.
Oh, okay. So what happened? When but in a public lobby, in a public building, the First Amendment covers recording.
That IA
Sorry.
is looking into this, so, you know, I kind of don't like that because I think I'm kind of invested a lot of time into this whole thing.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you the implications here. And this is just to educate you. Even though you're going to already know what I say, but I'm going to put it in perspective. Okay, when I kept explaining over and over to everybody, this is a First Amendment protected activity. I don't need permission to take pictures and video in public. I am a journalist. This is a First Amendment right. Over and over and over. That took away qualified immunity. Period. So there are there can be serious consequences, long-term, big consequences that can come out of it. So internal affairs will be very invested in this. And it can be yeah, they should be. And because his qualified immunity is gone. So not only would it be a department issue in the entire city, but him as an individual. And so he needs to really think about that. Because when I was explaining, while he was trying to cop-splain me, I was stripping his qualified immunity. It's gone. I mean, what was it, maybe 10 times? I'm a First Amendment auditor. I didn't say auditor. I'm using my First Amendment to take video of public property in a public lobby. This is a First Amendment protected activity. I'm just taking pictures of the lobby. I don't have to tell you who I am. I don't and forcing me to leave. He's screwed. I'm just going to say. So internal affairs, yeah, this will not be the end of it. This is going to go on for a while.
Listen.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, I thought when we first started that we were trying to make a positive end.
No.
It doesn't sound like a positive end.
Wait a minute. No, those are two separate issues. Just like a policy and how you handle individual officers. And that's why I was stressing, because that specific officer, how far he took it, how bad and how far. And with you not even finding it appropriate to suspend him for a few days.
I didn't say that.
So
That's not what I said. I said I
you
didn't
don't want to. Yeah, I know you kept avoiding the commitment to what you were going to do, because I know you haven't decided. I know you haven't decided.
What I found, I told you also, that I have to,
Thank you,
go over
Tango.
our discussion and whatnot with somebody above me.
Yeah.
And that's why if you're not at the top, you got somebody to answer to.
You make recommendations, right?
When we talked about this, and like I said, I talked to them before I call you. So that's the whole thing. So my command doesn't get surprised. So they knew that you were supposed to call me today.
Uh-huh.
And whatnot. So I was under the impression that I was to do what I felt necessary. And like I said, when we talked about it, I don't want to suspend anybody.
I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
That's what I said. So that's where sometimes what you say can be twisted to how somebody with an agenda wants to.
Oh wait, no, I didn't try to twist. That's why I kept trying. No, that's why I kept trying to clarify. Are you saying that you have made the decision not to do that, or you just don't want to do that? And that's why I kept saying, right.
I wanted us to come to an agreement and it not be that. And that's what I was talking about. So anyhow, but like I said, they just sent me information that internal affairs would probably be contacted.
Yeah, I'm expecting.
Everything I do has to go there.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Anyway.
It was wonderful talking to you.
I do.
You're not wasting my time. This is wonderful.
I do appreciate, some of the things that have come from that. Like I said, nobody likes to be confronted, and but there's actually stuff that comes from it that I kind of want to do anyway.
Well, I'm glad for the positive, and let me say, I'm very impressed with you and very happy with our conversation, and very.
You saw me briefly.
Was that you with the grayer hair?
Oh yeah, that's the old guy.
Well, were you there in the beginning and told me?
I just said I just asked you basically who are you, or what are you doing? And then, of course, that was because they said somebody was out front harassing the desk officer.
Oh my gosh.
And then after that, because after that,
Exactly.
when you said what you were doing, I was like, okay, my obligation.
Right,
after that is
Leslie.
to contact
Exactly.
my command,
Oh, okay.
which I was doing at the time.
Oh, okay. So because when I left, I thought that was you that was walking back in.
Yeah, I walked back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, had you said, hey, you know, legal would like to come over and talk to you, you know, if you just said that right then in that manner, you know, I would have been like, okay, cool. Yeah, I would have been fine with that.
To roll the dice, though, at that time.
Well, there's a difference in being detained and requesting.
My thing is, of course, I didn't know what went on as much inside
Yeah.
until I watched the video. But at that point, you know, I thought that you had done what you were going to do and you were leaving. So that was okay with me, too.
I guess so, yeah. I'll tell you, if you watch the very end where they're all outside staring me down like a gang, and I'm walking away, and I'm just like, God, man. And just waiting to see how many cars were going to follow me to figure out where my car is.
Hopefully none of them followed you, because that's something we don't want.
Cars left. And let me tell you what, the other one, they tracked me down. I mean, I went through back alleys, scaled a fence, round and around and around, and that blonde woman, whatever her thing was, oh yeah, she tracked me down. I think took pictures, wrote down my license, and then drove back around. And that is, I was looking at the actually like the DR of that going into criminal stalking or harassment. Because I was reading your DRs and, you know, going through all of that because, you know, just, oh yeah. And so, you know, I'm having to scan those because I can't assume everything that happened in not just you know, there. I cannot assume anything will be handled because no one wants to discipline their own or, you know, any of it. Deal with any of it, you know.
I don't know if I don't want to discipline. I do a lot of that. But part of what I do at the precinct level. But not that I don't want to. I don't want to have to. I don't want to, you know, it's not something that we look forward to, but that's a part of what we do when we have to. I don't want to have to do it.
Yeah.
Like I said.
Oh, I imagine, yeah. I mean, they're yours, and you feel like these are my officers, and you hate to do that, yeah, you know. I know y'all have the brotherhood, you know, that whole thing.
I put it more in the line nowadays is kids. You know, if you have kids, you know, sometimes you have to discipline, and you don't really want to.
Right, exactly, yeah. Well, let me tell you one thing, in case police officers did not know this, because I think a lot don't. That thin blue line disgusts America. And the ones that are actually on the American flag is a desecration of the flag. And really is, no, I never saw one in Memphis, period. But, yeah. But when you fly them, yeah, but...
and my father was military, and I don't really like that.
It's desecration of the flag. And I'll tell you, when you pull that up, because I've seen them right next to the American flag in front of police stations, it's, the thin blue line is a big...
Is that what you were looking for when you looked at the flag?
Oh, no, that's, I didn't, no, like, I get into the antennas, and I always love the flags, like the Tennessee flag, and then you'll have like a county flag, and then the state flag. I love the flags, and it's just.
No, since we mentioned it, I was like, is that?
Oh no.
I noticed that you videoed the flag.
Yeah, and I get into the towers. I'm really getting into the antennas and towers. I don't know why they just, because they're all different places.
Why is it looking at it now? That's a TV tower.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's just like my brother had just completely illegal, humongous freaking tower because we lived out in the middle of freaking nowhere and way past FCC guidelines for CB towers, at the time. And, so, yeah.
Ham radio myself.
You do? Yeah, my brother, I mean, since I was 4.
Tower. It's a big humongous antenna, though.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we had, like, a tower. I mean, and the antenna was, I mean, I don't want to incriminate anybody, even though it was, decades and decades ago. Yeah, I would say so, but, yeah, and let me tell you, yeah, he was CB, but he did ham too, but FCC guidelines are just stupid about that. When you just are out in the middle of freaking nowhere and can talk to somebody in Arkansas, it's just cool. I mean, well, that's a big deal. But when I was 4, he was about 9, 10 years old. He got his first one, and it started there. And my handle was Sneaky Weasel. Isn't that funny? Mine was Sneaky Weasel. Yeah. And so I grew up with that, and he still uses them today. And I used to have one in my car, and I would have one of those big mounted antennas, on the back of my car. And I used to travel a lot, and I would love to get one put in now, since obviously I'm traveling a lot, because the truckers talk to me all the time. Hey, is that lady over there? And hey, it's a Sneaky Weasel, because I'm still Sneaky Weasel, And it's the most fun thing to just talk to people like that. I understand why he got into it, but he's never gotten out of it. But I mean, he's legal and everything. But I'm saying, back when we were out in the middle of nowhere, it was pretty cool. But anyway, okay, I don't want to keep you any longer.
They used to leave one of the precincts here and go home.
Uh-huh.
And talk to a guy in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh, cool.
Every morning. Almost every morning. My truck, my home.
That is so neat.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I do it a little bit, kind of like, but not as much as I used to.
I have made. I'm sorry.
I said I don't have much time. The job has been.
Yeah, I understand, and that's why, like me doing this. Like I said, I have a job and a family, and all the time I invest in this is like my free time. Believe it or not, because like I said, it's just a civic duty that I put on myself that I'm passionate about, and I don't know what I would do without it anymore. It's like a mission statement of my life. It's just like if you're trying to save the whales or save mankind or go to the moon. I mean, everybody finds their niche of of their passion, and this just is it. And I'm growing in it and love it. And a lot of it is because I have so many positive encounters, and just like talking to you now. And that's what I was saying before is my core set of viewers stick with me because I take it here and show what you're doing and then what comes out of it all the way to the very end. Instead of it being, well, hey, look at this YouTube video of what happened. That's not what it's all about. It's just having the video. Otherwise, you're just, it's a different agenda in my mind. And so, but anyway, I want you to see when this goes up, you're going to have a wonderful, wonderful row of compliments. And
we try. Like I said, no matter what the initial appearance is, we always try to do the best we can and try to accommodate. So, anyway, like I said, they should be following up. I don't know if I'll have anything to do with this from now anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What I worked on we'll just be forwarded to them.
Okay. I do really mean that. When you come to town, I would love to meet with you. I really would. You know, just go have coffee. Go to Cracker Barrel. Let's go to Cracker Barrel.
Been there several times.
Yeah.
Most of the time when we go up there, I usually wait till I get to Dixon before I go to Cracker Barrel.
Let me see.
Anyway,
I think I had a terrible experience in Dixon. But no, it might not have been. I can't remember. But I've been there. But just, you know.
went through. Yeah, I used to, because I kind of grew up in Clarksville. So.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Reba.
Yeah.
Like I said, mostly good talking to you.
You too.
And
I appreciate everything you've done.
cross paths again. Hopefully, it'll be another positive experience.
Oh, well, definitely will be. Definitely.
Down here, stop in, ask for the colonel.
No, actually, if I come in, I would actually give you a call instead of just walking in, because it would be more on a personal level, not professional.
If some people just walk in, but like I said, I am real busy. I'm in and out a
Yeah.
lot, so if I'm here, like I said, stop in and see if I'm here.
Awesome. All right, it was great.
You do have the phone.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Okay. I'm just going to say a few things about it. In fact, let me bring this up. I want y'all to see, because I didn't realize when I was getting in touch with him that he was this guy. Because all the conversation was about all these other officers and how much they sucked. But I'm going to show y'all how he handled it. Let me find it. But I wanted y'all to get to the part about the qualified immunity. That was letting him know, and that's when everything changed. Because then he understood that his plea bargain of making policy changes and making things better in the future didn't cut it. No, you're not plea bargaining and saying, oh, you officers, oh, y'all didn't do good this time, but now we know.
No, thank you,
like
Doug.
we didn't already have these freaking policies before. And so I want y'all to see how he did. See how he treated me. I didn't realize this was even him. He'll be here in just a minute. So he was trying to plea bargain. That phone call was a plea bargain. Where look, you know,
I'm just filming
we're changing things. We're gonna make things better here, and good things have been done, and everything will be better. And then I'd be like, well, okay, well, man,
And I'm just, okay.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, no problem.
I want to get to the part of him.
Yes. I'm
Okay,
an
this is
independent
the beginning of him.
journalist. Is this the 17th or 18th?
Okay.
The 18th of July, 2019.
So I'm the only person that's come in today? Well, nobody's been here today.
Ma'am, just kidding.
I got you. I'm just saying, obviously, nobody's been here since 6 p.m. last night. That's
My
pretty-
point was nobody else had signed in since yesterday, but they were trying to make me.
All right, but at the same time, I understand you're an independent journalist. But
Yeah.
I have a sign. I don't know.
He's about to walk up. That's him.
Yeah.
Do you have any business to do here?
Yes.
Okay. What is it?
I'm an independent journalist, and
That's him.
I'm...
Clear to come in, and you can't film in here, you have no business. So if you
Well-
have no business, you'll need to go ahead. Okay?
This is a public lobby, is that correct?
You don't have
I would like to have a complaint form,
See him?
but in a public lobby, in a public building, the First Amendment covers recording.
You don't have any business in here, you don't have any business in here. Okay?
You realize this is a public lobby? Okay, can I have a complaint form?
All right. Okay. So, you know, he seemed like a real nice guy. And literally until the end, when I figured out that's who that was, and then got to go back and replay his role, when he was no better. And he was the guy in charge. And he said, if you don't have any other business in here, then you need to leave. So he told me to leave. So, I didn't get into it like I did with Mr. Prick over here. Wait a minute. Let me find him. The one that's Adair. I know, but you're gonna text a coworker, but you're gonna tell him what's happening. Sounded like it might be about me because you didn't say.
Ma'am, don't accuse me of something.
I didn't accuse you of anything. What did I accuse you of doing?
But you don't know who on the other end, and you're assuming.
I assumed.
Why? Why not just ask me?
Okay. Were you going to text him about it? Okay.
It has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
This is work. This is where I work, ma'am.
I understand that, and I appreciate
For
it.
those who haven't seen the video,
Ma'am, do you have this is a...
I actually do, and I'm trying to explain it. He's having a hard time letting me explain. I am a First Amendment auditor, and I take video and pictures of public property, including the public lobbies. It's a First Amendment. I don't need press credentials. It's a First Amendment right to anyone that's a citizen in this country.
You cannot come in and disturb these people.
I haven't disturbed anyone. I signed in. He asked me to sign in. He kept.
Business here.
All I wanted to do was video the place, and I would have been gone.
Okay, but you still did not. You can't just come in with the phone. And just,
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
It is a First Amendment protected
Ma'am, do you have
activity.
business here?
Yes.
Okay, well, you
How
what's your business?
I've been trying, and y'all keep interrupting me and not letting me explain.
You standing up on the camera in front of the guy while he's working. Get to the business aspect of what you're.
May I have your name and your badge number?
Colonel Rodney Adair, okay? The colonel has asked you, did you have business here? Why are you not? You just standing up shouting the
I was taking pictures of our public lobby that all the citizens own. That was my actual business, which is relative.
Ask one of the people.
He asked me what I was. I don't have to ask to do a First Amendment act.
We don't know what you're.
I don't need permission.
You can have a weapon.
A shooting phone. Do you see bullets in my phone?
Ma'am,
I mean, this is ridiculous.
If you don't have any business, we're gonna
I
have.
do.
You might,
I
okay,
do.
if you're not taking the.
I'm trying. I
You're
am.
not taking the photo.
Why do you keep interrupting me and talking over me? It's not productive. You're escalating. You're escalating it. You are escalating it, and I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to get you to understand. That's what you won't let me say.
Your business cannot be just to come. If you have got what you want to do, that you didn't come in and ask permission.
I don't need to. No, it's a First Amendment right. When he asked me, I told him.
We don't know what's the
I said I'm an independent journalist. I was very nice to him. Why would I show you ID? Did I break a law? Is this a stop in ID state? Am I driving a car? Any of those?
We asked for ID.
You tell me your legal reason for me to give you ID.
Your legal reason for being here.
I just told you one. It's a First Amendment right. It's a right because you keep on this conversation
To take pictures
of the building, and I would have walked right out.
exactly, he was the guy that started it all.
What is your name and your badge number?
Lieutenant Patrick 12.
Nice to meet you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I don't know why y'all needed to act this way.
We're not acting, man. We're
This is a public lobby.
It is, but we.
I even signed it.
Business.
I actually asked for a complaint form, but when he asked, well, check what?
Know what you have there. That's a safety precaution for
What kind of safety are you worried about?
We do things every day. with
Yeah.
prices. We need to know what you're coming in
This
with.
phone doesn't shoot anything
Okay, well,
except
you have the
video.
right to check it out. Have
You want to see
looked through
it? See?
Have you not
Does it
looked
have
it up and
bullets?
shown it to them?
Is that
See how
bullets?
you're being now?
I mean, it's a ridiculous thing. Like I'm a threat to you with a phone.
Anybody comes in with equipment, like we don't know what it is.
Equipment?
That's what it is.
It's a phone.
People don't come in.
It's a phone.
Okay.
You have a phone, don't you? Do you have one?
You see me shining?
Y'all have guns.
See me shining?
Y'all have guns. I have a
And
telephone.
we're gonna ask you to get to your business and leave.
Okay, how do you file a complaint in the city?
What is your complaint?
It doesn't matter what my complaint is. I would like to have a form to file.
You don't need a phone to file the complaint. You just call and file the complaint.
I would like to have a form. If you have forms, do they exist?
You can file.
Do they exist? Y'all don't have forms.
No, not just file a complaint. No, you just file a complaint verbally through one of the people here that you need to do.
Then y'all are just blue lining each other. What I'm supposed to say, hey, he did this, and you're going to say, no, he didn't. Y'all just back each other up. There's no accountability.
We got a chain of command. You know what that
Well, how
is?
am I supposed to make it? Yeah, I know. I know what a chain of command is. Thank
Make
you.
a complaint,
Yeah.
And I'll take it up to my higher each echelon.
Uh-huh.
They'll address your complaint.
Okay, how am I supposed to do that?
Tell me what your complaint is now. Inform my
Okay,
supervisor.
the way that y'all have not respected me and my First Amendment right to
I have not
record,
disrespected you at all.
you're telling me that I can't come in here, that I need to provide some form of ID, like this camera.
Okay, I could be. I will. But hey, let me say, because people are gonna start
Why
leaving
would
here.
anybody need a...
Johnny 50 called them today. He didn't speak to these actual people, but he spoke to the second video when I went back to make the complaint. The guy he talked to, his name is, I think, Lafferty. And it was phenomenal. He's shown me the video. It's unlisted. He's going to wait, I think, until tomorrow because, you know, they screw with him with demonetizing and everything. But he calls, and you will be blown away. I loved it, laughed, because Johnny 50 is the fiercest, most intelligent, articulate, arrogant asshole. And every single one of those words were compliments, okay? I meant that in all sincerity of what I love about him. He beat the shit out of you with his words. You know, the most knowledgeable person. So just let me tell you, yeah, Kevin, yeah, Johnny 50 called. I've seen the video. It was great. Not so long like this. But I'll tell you what I also have is my internal affairs experience. I have the sound on that. So if I ever decide to use that, it is there. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to wait and work with internal affairs because this is going to be a long process that we're going to be going through. So I'm just going to hold on to that. But yeah, Johnny 50 is awesome. So hopefully he'll put it out tomorrow. And he said he would let me know when he posted it. I've seen it. And y'all got to watch for it. So y'all watch for his video, okay? Everybody, y'all, thanks for coming. Thanks for the support. I was reading your comments. I love all of y'all. I appreciate y'all coming and staying. This was over 2 hours. I know everybody didn't stay the whole time. But, I just think this part of it is so important. And so I'm glad that y'all were here to see. I hope that, people start following through. Yeah, Johnny 50 is great. Okay, thank you, Tango. And all of y'all have a good night. I will come into Discord in just a little bit and say hi. I don't know how many people were here from Discord, but I'll come back in there in just a few minutes, okay? I love all of y'all. Thank you for your support and the positive comments and feedback. It motivates me to keep going. Richard Smith, I will email you tomorrow night, okay? And that video you sent me gave me chills and then made me cry because it was the sweetest thing I think I've gotten in a long time. Okay, all of y'all, good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.